Howdy, folks and fellow Americans. We love all you Americans because we want to be one big family out of this. This evening we're going to talk about, in this particular episode, jobs, 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 and the economy. I've said in one of the prior episodes, we've got to get the private sector sizzling. We have new taxable places, products, services, jobs. Everybody's earning and paying taxes with a strong private economy. Throughout our more recent history and modern history, the presidents who have cut taxes have helped a boom economy. Why? Because more people invest in businesses and growth. This is a time in America to be an entrepreneur. If you can't find a job, do something you really like and convert it to a business. Had we taken a stimulus package and split it among tens of thousands or 500,000 grant applications from would-be entrepreneurs, have a committee or some group that evaluates them and give them away. Just make sure there's no cronyism and corruption in it. We'd have thousands and thousands of new businesses. Do you know that on some days this year, 20,000 small businesses went out of business in one day? It's unbelievable. Over the course of the last 3 years, I couldn't imagine how many hundreds of thousands of small businesses went out of business. They are the engine of the economy. More people are hired in small businesses than all the big corporations put together. The owners and the employees earn and pay taxes. It's the new facilities, the new taxable properties and facilities and products that make for a sizzling economy. We have to turn the private sector loose. The reason I love the conservative agenda, we know the gentleman at the top has made a lot of money. Good for him. It's called free enterprise. Why envy him and why try to tax him to death? Let them do the same thing they've been doing all their lives, but let's a lot of us join them too. Why? Because we work hard, we have a good work ethic, we got some smarts about what we want to do, all the way down to a small one-person shop, someone doing what they love to do. If you're doing what you love to do, you never work another day in your life because you like it, and you're paying taxes because you're earning. You don't have to have a job to pay taxes. What I'm saying is we have to get rid of a lot of regulations, a lot of department agencies that usurped power, trampled small businesses, made it so difficult to do business. I had several small businesses. They're all closed, every one of them. I'm doing this because I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I want my country back. I want my companies back. I can't run them. I laid off a lot of people. Well, there's no reason for that except mine was solid regulations, state and federal regulations that absolutely weren't called for. It's some bureaucrat, a desk jockey, telling me how to run my business that doesn't get out here and do the work on my ranch that I did. That's sickening to be told that. The same people are going to be deciding whether you get health care or get door 3, the death door. There's not going to be enough money to pay for everything with this health care bill, and it's going to dampen the private sector because a lot of people can't afford to cover their employees with insurance. Many of them are going to actually pay the fine. It's cheaper. Isn't that smart? It's cheaper to pay the fine and not worry about the insurance than it is to cover your employees with insurance. Whatever that bill is, 2,700 pages. I wonder how many congressmen who voted for it have actually read it by now. We heard Nancy Pelosi say, "Oh, let's vote for it now. It's wonderful. We can read about it later and find out what's in it." Crap. There's stuff in it that I've seen off the internet that just freak me out that have nothing whatsoever to do with health care. They slip more BS into this thing than we could even imagine, sucking our liberties, sucking our rights, and screwing up the best health care system in all the world. Why do people come here? Foreign dignitaries, Middle East leaders come here for their surgery. Castro. People want to come to America to get their health care problems taken care of. They're not going to want to do that in the future because we probably won't ration it to them. Oh, yeah, there is cronyism. We'll take care of the people that befriend those in the highest places. But the little guys, you and me, we're going to suffer. Most people are worried about jobs and the economy more than anything else right now. I said in a previous episode, many years ago, I ran as a professional person a federal jobs program. It was grant money that went to state and local governments to cover virtually every county in America. 2,500 counties in America that were in that program. Virtually everybody had access to it. It had specific delimited requirements, eligibility requirements for low income and other types of characteristics, But that's who we were wanting to help. And the unemployment level was only a little over 7% back then, but we created hundreds of thousands of jobs during the course of those programs, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, for about $3,000 average apiece. Some places less, some places more. Most of the people that were in those in the 70s and 80s are still working in the same job they had, except they had promotional opportunities. Why? Because they saw what it's like to work and earn money and get a good work ethic and pride in accomplishment and a steady paycheck. And they paid taxes all this time, and now they still have a job. This crap with the stimulus package, my God, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. I challenge you to go to the internet. I always tell you, do your own research. You listen to me, fine. Talk to your friends, fine, but do your own research. The internet's just one place to start. Look up how many actual jobs were created by the stimulus package. Actually created full-time permanent jobs, not temporary shovel-ready jobs that never existed. And divide that into the total $700-something billion. And those jobs were, I mean, if any one of us had the average of one job, we could dang near retire. Lord, what was that all about? We used our precious treasures to try to stimulate the economy. That does not work. We should see that by now. Most of what this administration has done in 4 years have cratered some important function of our society, our culture, our economic engine, crippled it. We can't continue to go. We must derail this current regime. Have to. Now, I have a wonderful thing to tell you. I've observed and seen and I've heard a fresh wind sweeping across our land. More and more people are seeing the truth. They know it's okay to vote against Obama. It's okay to vote against the current regime. It's okay to vote for what you believe and you need as a person in America. You need a good job. You need an economy. You don't need your company closing. You don't need to own a company that's closing. And you certainly don't want a company closing and laying you off. We're not going to have enough unemployment insurance to pay for everybody who's in that category continued in the future. It used to be 26 weeks, and now somehow it's 99 weeks. Lord, that's close to 2 years of unemployment insurance. I don't know a single soul, with the exception of a very few, who really have a strong incentive to go out and look for a job and get it when they're getting sometimes 2/3 of their pay when they were working, and no costs. No travel, no lunches, no laundry and cleaners, etc., etc. Something wrong with that thinking, folks. I know they think it's stimulating the economy to keep paying people free. It's a disincentive to go back to work. The reality is, if you want to work and you need a job, we need to create opportunities by sizzling up the private sector and make the engines of our economy smoke and steam again. I want to tell you that tonight, this particular program is designed to focus on the economy. If you want a good America filled with goodies, grocery stores full of stuff, wealth, people spending money, what we call stupid money. They're buying things they don't really need for survival. Most people can't even make it from month to month right now. They're not making ends meet. Out here where I'm from, the guys have sold their wives' jewelry. Now they're selling their guns, and Lord knows we don't want that. And that's the toughest thing to go, and usually, fortunately, the last thing to go. But they're not making it. They're losing their homes, losing ranches. And all across America, especially in some of the bigger heavy manufacturing centers in large cities, they're in deep trouble. The jobs have gone overseas. We can create stimulus packages to bring the jobs back here. It's called incentives and bonuses and tax-free enterprises. We've tried all this in the past, and it does work. We have to get the private sector going. I believe firmly, and I wouldn't be here with all these rattlesnakes. You hear them going to town. These are live killer rattlesnakes. They're all right here, and they've been striking at me when I was getting them in position. The walls are covered with them in here, and they're going crazy. And if I move my hands, you can hear them and see them, and they will strike if I get any closer than that right there. Look at that big boy up there. He's thinking about it. All of them are. I wouldn't put my life on the line, and these are killers, unless I believe what I'm telling you. We have to unseat this regime, get the Senate, get the House firmly under the conservative concepts. As soon as the election over, we better have a conservative president who's going to live up to what he has said, most of which makes very good sense, versus what we're hearing fumbling around on the stage and the debates and Lord knows the news. Too many consequences have happened while this president is in office. They're not consequences. They're not unique things. They're not coincidences either. We've got Fast and Furious. We've got Lord knows the Libya incident in Benghazi. That is absolutely inexcusable. You can't blame anyone for either of those. I've heard George Bush did this and did that. No one had a thing to do with shipping guns to Mexico to the cartel. Does everybody see the logic of that? No one wants to claim it now. Everybody's hands off. No one wants to admit what happened in Benghazi. I say, for the parents of those people who got killed, the spouses and children, somebody needs to be charged with pure D homicide in the United States of America and tried. Someone called it, no, back down, hold back. That's wrong. We had all the resources in the world to save that embassy and most everybody in it probably for 7 hours during a firefight that was protracted that long. Stand down, stand down. We know at least 2 times that came down. Now no one claims it. General Petraeus, absolutely one of our most heroic generals in the history of this country, did some wonderful things. He tells us no one in his agency said it. That would be the CIA now. I wish he was still general in the Army and raising hell in the Middle East. That's what he's really good at. But who said stand down? Somebody sent something over a radio. Someone has, I don't care if they use voice imprint, someone needs to be found. And they called off the resources of America to save fellow Americans. Now they're dead. Totally, absolutely repulsively insane and inexcusable. We're going crazy to accept that. The administration alone, how many times have we heard the buck stops here? Well, by gosh, it does, and it needs to stop there now. That one incident, if that had happened, something of that level and importance in a private corporation or a CEO of somewhere or an elected official at the local level, and they screwed their job up so bad, everybody would vote them out. The board of directors of the corporation, the people in the local community, a county or city election, that CEO is gone. We have to do the same thing. It's time to change, get a plan that's going to work, and I'm serious as a snake bite. It has to take place, folks. It has to take place. I want to get out of this pit, but I'm going to keep doing it as long as I think I can give a message to the United States of America to go vote. Vote conservative. Do your research beforehand. Please, please, if you've been a Democrat all your life or a liberal all your life, this isn't the time to stay with tradition. I know there's plenty of people who are mad dog radicals that love, they're zealot patriots thinking Obama's the man. He's not. As far as I am concerned out here on my ranch, he is incompetent. He's over his head, or he's got a very wicked, evil plan that he's leading us to the gates of hell under. Think about it. What has he done that you could say, I love that? You don't even know what to say about the health care program. You think you do. 2,700 pages? You don't even know what's in the thing. Our leaders don't know what's in it, but we're not going to be able to afford it either way. We need to put our money back into private enterprise and turn the engines loose. I'm going to be leaving you now, but I want to tell you this particular program costs to run, and I'm asking for please support us past the election. We'll change from snakerant.com probably to we're holding your feet to the fire or some body part to the fire. We want campaign promises met. We want people to deliver on what they rhetorically said blithely just to get elected. Those days are gone in America. We can't afford it. We have to unite as one country, indivisible, cut the divisiveness out. When the election's over, someone's won. We have to cut out partisanship and become one unit and run this country like a machine against the outside world. If we don't present a common front real quick, we're going to be like the snake flag that Benjamin Franklin first did with a woodcut. Unite or die. Unite or die. That was about the 13 colonies. Lord knows, 50 states, or was it 57? We have to unite and be one country as a mutual, strong, single-minded front to protect ourselves and our way of life from the rest of the world. To hell with spread the wealth around the world. To hell with one world government. They're working hard to get us there, but we're the richest country in the world. If we start, let me think what the math is there. If we start splitting the wealth and sharing it, the only way we can go is down, down, down. Is that what you want in America? You have to be pretty liberal to realize that your lifestyle is going to change too. One more item, the media. You ought to be ashamed. You ought to feel like you've sinned in hell for taking the one-sided approach. I challenged you before in an episode. I challenge you again. Every American needs to listen to at least one conservative, strong, national talk show host or even a local host. They're everywhere and they're great. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, a lot of them. We've got one locally named Chris Croft. He's good. Chris Croft tells it like it is, but his audience is too small. There's a couple of million. We need 330 million people listening. Do your research. If you can find a good liberal station, do the same hour with it. Don't watch any of the public TV stations. I have never seen the bias. What is going on in America that the ethics of our news media has done that? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm mad as hell. I want my country back, and I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I like being a free American. I know you do too. Join me. I mean, really join me in huge throngs of millions of people. Change parties, change your philosophy, do your research. You better vote to unseat this particular government, Senate, Congress, and especially the presidency, and let's get this thing back on track as one unit, one country, one group of Americans, a family of Americans. Lord knows we need it again. I'm sick of divisiveness. I'm sick of being called a racist or a class person. I'm as poor as they come right now, folks, because I lost my companies from regulations and government intervention. I'm mad as hell. I want you to get that way. We've got one final push here, less than a week. I want this to go viral. Take time to please send snakerant.com, no matter how you have to do it. Put it on Facebook, YouTube. Go to snakerant.com in your browser and watch these. We've got several episodes coming out between now and the election, but we're going to have donations to take it further. Adios, muchachos. Vote right. Conservative. Next week, please. Bless you, and may the Lord be with the United States of America.